Hey guys, to have the access to UI elements of our application, we can enable view binding. For this, open Gradle file, build Gradle module, point app, and in the Android section, add the text build features view binding equal true. Then press Sync Now to download our view binding library. Then go to main activity. In this video, I'll tell you how it works in activity, and in the next video, I'll tell you how it works in the fragment. The first step in main activity, inside class main activity, create binding variable. For this, type var binding and add the type of binding. The type of binding is this layout, activity main. Write activity main binding. When we enable our view binding library in build Gradle, Android create files with binding for the view binding. Choose activity main binding. We have error, let's see it. Add late-init modifier, because we haven't value of this variable, we must add late-init. That's okay. Then inside the onCreate method, add value for our variable. Type binding is, then write our activity main binding and choose activity main binding point inflate. Inside inflate, we must add layout inflator. Type layout inflator. Type of this layout inflator is layout inflator with caps lock. After that, instead this layout, we can add binding point root element. That's all, but I want to explain what does mean binding point root. I make this screen more bright. If we write view var variable view equal binding, binding is activity main binding. But if we write point root, view is constraint layout. In activity main, in our layout, we have root element, constraint layout, and other elements, text view, buttons, images, are inside constraint layout. And if you need to have view in your code, you can instead binding root here, type view. We have warning, and we can instead var write val. Okay? And now we can use our view binding. For this, go to activity main layout, click our text view, then open attributes. In the ID field, add ID, for example, text hello. Enter, and it is our ID text hello. Then return to the main activity, and to use our view binding, add binding, then point, and then choose our text hello. It is our element text view, but binding clear spaces between words. And then we can add text to our text hello. For example, point text is, and for example, instead hello world, we add goodbye. Let's check our application. For this, run app, and in our application we see instead hello world the goodbye text. Let's check warnings, open problems, and in problems we have recommendation to make binding private. Choose make binding private, and that's okay. In the next video I show you how to enable view binding in the fragment.